We've heard the same story over and over. Drivers telling us this small stretch of Texas highway was a trap, a systematic ambush. Amani Busby of Maryland was forced off the road here.
They took everything out of the car. They took all of us out of the car.
Jennifer Boatwright and Ronald Henderson were driving through with their 2 kids. They tell us they had $6,000 with them to buy a car when they were stopped.
He was already going through the glove box, and he got Ron's money.
Over the last 2 years, scores of drivers, virtually all of them African Americans or Latinos, say they couldn't report these crimes to the police because the men who forced them to pull over, the men who took so much from them, are the police. Roderick Daniels' journey took him here to the tiny town of Tenaha, Texas, population about 1,000. On this portion of US 59, the posted speed limit is 35 miles per hour. Daniels says police pulled him over for going 37 in the 35. Police asked Daniels if he had money, and he says he told them he had the cash to pay for that new car.
They said they would charge me with money laundering. I actually thought that this was a joke. I'm like, money laundering? It sounds so dramatic.
2 cops brought him to jail. He was frightened, had no idea what he'd done wrong, but was told no charges would be brought if he left behind his cash and jewelry.
To be honest, I was 500-600 miles away from home. I was very petrified.
So he agreed to the deal. Roderick Daniels was released from this Texas jail without his money, without his jewelry, without the car he wanted to buy, and without any hope he would see his valuables again. But now he realizes he's not alone. Jennifer and Ronald were also offered a deal, this one in writing, and the district attorney signed it herself. It's a form letter, a kind of get-out-of-jail card that says, in exchange for forfeiting their $6,000, no criminal charges shall be filed, and our children shall not be turned over to Child Protective Services. The cops terrified their son, Jonathan.
So what did he say about your parents to you?
That they were going to be taken away. Me and Jacob would be put in CPS or foster care.
His mom says the DA showed up at the police station, berated her as a bad parent, and also threatened to separate the family.
I said, if it's the money you want, you can have it. You can have it. If that's what it takes to keep my children with me and not separate them from us, take the money.
Amani Busby was with her young child.
The first police officer who pulled us over would say things to me like, your son's going to Child Protective Services. He's going. He's going. You're not saying what we want to hear.
So what's going on here? This attorney has filed a class action lawsuit on behalf of 150 drivers who were stopped at Highway 59.
There's disproportionately going after racial minorities. And my take on the matter is that the police in Tenaha, Texas, were picking on and preying upon people that were least likely to fight back.
The cops in the county took their money, and yet none of them was ever charged criminally.
I believe it's a shakedown. I believe it's a piracy operation.
Records show this town and county have made a lot of money doing this. Under Texas law, police in fact are allowed to confiscate money and other property if it's believed to be used in a crime. But if the person is not charged or is found not guilty, the valuables must be returned. The lawsuit claims Tenaha and Shelby County often keep the money, no matter what.
I was angry.
This Texas state senator is leading the fight to reform forfeiture laws, partly because he's shocked at what he's heard about in Tenaha.
To have law enforcement and a district attorney and the criminal justice system essentially be crooks, in my judgment, it should infuriate and does infuriate everyone.
The town has made many forfeiture arrests of people who really have been guilty of crimes. But when you include the alleged fraudulent arrests, roughly how much money has the tiny town taken in? The attorney has done some math.
The amount is close to $3 million.
$3 million. So what are they doing with that money? We found a $10,000 check from the DA directly to this man, the cop, who pulled over most of these drivers. We had questions for him. We're doing a story about this guy, Roderick Daniels. He was pulled over here by you a year and a half ago, and you took his money and his jewelry. Do you recognize him?
I cannot comment.
And we had questions for the DA. After avoiding us, we finally located her. We're surprised to find her on center stage.
There's the singing DA, and many of you have caught up on this already, and you have a very legitimate question, so do we. Let me show you this question that just came into us on MySpace moments ago. With regard to this Texas town, why is the DA who signs off on this not being fired? Also, since when did Texas become worse than East Germany as far as its citizens are concerned? Interesting question about the DA. Part of that answer is coming up. As a matter of fact, roll this for him, Raj.
And we found her on stage, belting out country tunes at a fire department fundraiser. We couldn't get near her until the event was over. Miss Russell? Many of the drivers pulled over on Highway 59 tell us they are guilty of one thing and one thing only: driving while black or Latino. So we didn't expect the cop who many are complaining about to be this man. His name is Barry Washington.
It seems like you guys pull a lot of people over, though, and take their money and take their belongings, more than I've seen in any town before. What's your response to that?
I cannot make a comment. This is not litigation. This is a lawsuit.
Well, I appreciate your courtesy to me, but that's the story that we're doing, that it just seems like there's a propensity to do that.
I don't have anything to say to you right now. Okay. And I've told you that twice.
Okay. Well, if I could just ask you one final question.
You guys have a safe trip. Have a good day.
The district attorney wasn't as easy to find. We made repeat visits to her office.
We came here yesterday and we asked if she'd be in today, and we were told she would be in today.
I thought she was going to be, but she's not. That's all I can tell you.
But you can't tell me if she's on vacation or just not wanting to talk to us.
That's what she's doing.
Well, it is her business because the taxpayers pay her salary, so it really is the public's business. So, yeah.
Ultimately, they told us she would have no comment. So we looked elsewhere for DA Linda Russell. And we found her on stage, belting out country tunes at a fire department fundraiser. We couldn't get near her until the event was over. Miss Russell?
Guys,
Miss Russell?
She doesn't care to speak to anybody.
Miss Russell, my name's Gary, talking with CNN.
She doesn't have anything.
I need to ask her. Miss Russell, I just want to see if you want. I just want to see.
I want to talk to you.
But we kept trying because we'd found out even more about her that raised serious questions. Texas law states that when money and valuables are legally taken from motorists charged with crimes, it can only be used for the official purposes of the DA's office and for law enforcement purposes for police. We acquired copies of hundreds of checks the district attorney wrote over the last 2 years. The entire account funded only with money the cops took from drivers they stopped on the highway. Official purposes? The documents show the DA has given herself wide discretion in how she spends the forfeiture money. Here's a check and receipt for a popcorn machine and popcorn costing $524. Here's another one, $195 for a poultry festival. She bought Tootsie Pops, Dum Dums, and Double Bubble for the event. Here's one, $400 for catering from Pete and Jennifer's Barbecue. More records show she made donations to clubs and organizations she seems to like, including the local Chamber of Commerce, youth baseball. Good causes, but official business? According to the check registry from the district attorney's forfeiture fund, at least 2 checks totaling $6,000 were given to this Baptist church in Tenaha. But this check really stands out. This is the check the DA wrote for $10,000 and paid directly to police officer Barry Washington for what are described as investigative costs. So we wanted to give the DA a chance to explain. Why would she write such a huge check directly to a cop, and why it seems the cops are targeting so many minority drivers?
She doesn't want to speak to you guys.
Sir, I'm not asking you. If she doesn't want to comment, she can tell me. She's the district attorney.
She doesn't even want to speak to you.
I know. I need to give her the opportunity. That's my job, to get both sides of the story.
She knows that she has the opportunity. She doesn't care to speak to you.
The DA's personal attorneys did give CNN a general statement. Ms. Russell has denied and continues to deny all substantive allegations set forth. She has used and continues to use prosecutorial discretion and is in compliance with Texas law, the Texas Constitution, and the United States Constitution. George Bowers has been mayor here for 54 years. The class action suit also names him.
We try to hire the very best trained to have all the training, and we keep them up to date on the training, where they will follow the law.
So you have faith that they've done the right thing?
Yes, right.
All the defendants in the lawsuit denied the allegations and say they followed the law. The Hendersons and Imani Busby spent a lot of money on attorneys and eventually got their seized cash back. But Roderick Daniels, like scores of others who has been charged with nothing, is still out the $8,500 the cops took from him. For a husband and father of 4, it's a lot to lose.
To this day, didn't understand why did they take my belongings off me.
Maybe he'll find out someday. From the cop.
This is not litigation. Yeah. We'll just have to see what happens in the courthouse.
Or from the country singer, whose day job may be getting her in big trouble. Gary Tuckman, CNN, Tenaha, Texas.